everybody. My name is Hua, and today this is my favorite book about my favorite holiday, the Christmas tree. Do you know why I said it? My favorite holiday. So you already know that Christmas was my favorite holiday. It has free presents I like. But if you naughty, Santa will not give you the Christmas tree. Now let's read it. Mom, Tom called. She replied. This Christmas, can we have a different kind of Christmas tree? What kind of tree? Mom asked. Oh, I don't know, said Tom. Then I think last year's tree will be fine, she said. Dad, Tom called. He replied. This Christmas, can we have a different kind of the Christmas tree? What do you have in mind? Dad asked. Oh, I don't know, said Tom. Then I guess we can still use one from last year, he said. Jill, Tom called. She replied. Mom and Dad said we could have a different Christmas tree this year. Did we? Said Mom and Dad. What kind of tree, Tom? I think Jill is really love to play with her dolls, right? What about the one we have had last year? Said Jill. It made from green tinsel and has a plastic trunk. Not a proper tree at all, declared Tom. Well, we can't get a real tree because we make a mess, said Mom. And the smell made me sneeze, said Jill. Can I make one then? Tom pleaded. That night, Tom lay awake thinking all the different ways that he could make a Christmas tree. Block tree, paper tree, real tree, snow tree, brick tree, paper tree, many kind of trees. Wow! As I thought I made my own tree. I use a long and a middle thick in a plastic stick. It will be tall, longer. It will be tall like this. It will be longer than my table. For the trunk, if it's brown, I don't need to color it. If it's not brown, I should use my oil pastels to paint on it. Or I could ask my mom and dad to buy some paint. But next, I would use some Lego block, my toy Lego block, and not a kind of small Lego block, tiny. No, it would be bigger. I use that to building my own thing I like houses, swords, or guns. I kind of like it because I'm really creative. But then I use hot glue to stick on the trunk. It will be really colorful. Next, I use the rest of the Lego to place on the longer stick Lego. And that is my Christmas tree. But then, one more thing, I would use use some of the LED light. That means a long string covers in beautiful, colorful lights. I not do it. I would not do with it. What I need to do is I spin on the branches, up and down, up and down, up and down. Spin, 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 and spin. Spin, 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 and never end. Up and down the branches. And it will be really colorful. We could use a star or a plastic bell to stick on it. Then I do some of the charming stars for things. I could use some of a paper. I cut it as the stars, the gingerbread, and the Christmas tree. I colored it and I hang it on my own Christmas tree. But I think I cannot make a big tree, so what I can do is making a small tree, though. A big tree, I need to use many of it. And another kind of collection, it will not need it to do many work, is I would use a Lego cow, a Lego sheep, or a Lego pig, or the people Lego made from plastic Lego. Then I will put it on the branches as collection. But we just have some. So never mind, but I don't need some lead for it. I can use some of a square block that is colorful for the light. But not just that. I could use a tiny lead. Then I put it on a small hole of it, under it. Then I hang and hang and hang. I could even use some Lego block to make some presents, though, by making big Legos into a square, like a box. Then I could use two smaller block and place it on. I use two longer block, place it on. Then I done a Lego presents. That's mine. If you want to have it, give me a picture, or you can tell how to make it. Now let's continue reading it. In the morning, Tom began to build his Christmas tree. He put a big "Do Not Enter" sign on the living room door. No one was allowed in until he has finished. I don't know what's wrong with last year's tree, said Dad. Has anyone seen my doll? Asked Jill. At last, Tom was finished. He called everyone to the living room to see his new Christmas tree. There stood the brightest, biggest, best Christmas tree they ever seen. A branch stood with a bucket. Around it was Dad's best red and green tartan scarf, tied it in a bow. Some of the leaves were painted with Mom's nail polish. Ooh! And branches were decorated with Jill's ribbons. Now I know Jill has so many ribbons. Is she collecting ribbons? Wrapped around the tree were strings of beads and macaroni. The family's Christmas cards were cut into star shapes and hung from the branches. At the top of the tree was Jill's doll. Leading from the tree to the couch was a path of Christmas paper sprinkled with glitter. Sponge the dog was sitting on the couch, wearing a Santa hat. "Well, what do you think?" giggled Tom. "Is it better than the last year's tree?" "Oh, stunning," said Mom. "Awesome," said Dad. "Amazing," said Jill. "Yeah, it was really amazing and beautiful too." Okay, I think it would be a kind of short. If it's long enough for you, take a like. And then not very long, take a subscribe, please. Now what I do now is summaries. The Christmas tree. Tom asked Mom. "Mommy," said Tom. Replied Mom. Can I make my own Christmas tree?" he said. So Mom asked back, "What kind of tree?" she asked. Then he replied, "Oh, I don't know." He replied, Then he come to ask Dad. "Daddy," Tom said. Dad asked, "Can I make my own Christmas tree?" he asked. "What kind of tree?" Dad replied. "Oh, I don't know," he said. Then he go to Jill's room. "Jill," he said. Jill said. He replied, "Mom and Dad said we can make a new kind of Christmas tree," he said. "Did we?" asked Mom and Dad. "What kind of tree?" Jill asked. That night, Tom was all thinking how to make his own tree. Then the next morning, Mom, Dad, and Jill we don't know where is Tom, but the living room door was closed, and there is a big sign. Just a little peek. That sign said, "Do not enter." That means while he's working, he don't want people to come in, and he make it for a surprise for his family. He make. Later, he was done. He was go outside and asked everyone to the living room to see his new Christmas tree. It was really beautiful. Some leaves are painted in Mom's polish. And the branches are hung with Jill's ribbons. And the tree is on a bucket. And Dad's best red and green scarf was tied on the bucket, tied as a bow. Everyone liked it. and and the the way to the couch to the Christmas tree, it have a kind of paper, sprinkled paper with Santa faces on it. Really beautiful. And on the couch, it has sponge for dog on it. Everyone liked it. And so does Tom. Bye bye, everybody.